How do you look to offer financial service products to people without ID? Because there's X number of people in the world that don't have a verified identification document.
Yeah, it's a great question. So we talk a lot about economic freedom, and that's kind of the mission statement of Coinbase. And I'm just so proud of that in a sense, because everyone can identify with it so easily. For me, it has kind of two aspects. One of which is the cost of financial services, and the other is the inclusion, as you say. And we've got 1 billion people in the world or thereabouts who don't have kind of access to kind of basic financial services, but actually a large proportion of that 1 billion do have access to smartphones and to the internet. And I think there's the opportunity, right? If we're able to kind of give those folks an ability to receive money, to send money, to store money, etc. on the internet through the phone, but without necessarily having to go to a bank branch and provide ID and accreditation, is really important. On the topic of ID, I think you're absolutely right. If somebody loses their passport, or if you're a refugee, or you're in some kind of unfortunate humanitarian situation in which it's very difficult for you to provide the documents that are necessary, how much better would it be if we lived in a world in which some of those verifiable credentials existed online, and you would just need access to the internet in order to prove that. I mean, today we see such extraordinary inefficiency with the verification processes, right, of IDs and things, which are done manually. It can take months in some circumstances. I read recently that, for example, in the UK, nurses lining up to to work, but actually for a significant percentage of them, it takes weeks and weeks and weeks for some of the accreditation processes to take place. Now, clearly, to be a healthcare professional, we need to make sure that you are who you say you are and you can do your job. But I do believe in the future that we're going to have ways in which to use technology such that we can accredit people for the things that they've done, whether that's in education or whether it's their basic ID, it's kind of a digital passport or something, in a way in which we are able to include more people into the economy. So I'm very excited about that, and I think that potentially the steps that were taken through COVID and socially and culturally people's affinity or comfort or around using vaccination passports and things like that, I think that's probably moved us all further ahead, such that it may be easier from a cultural perspective for people to feel kind of more comfortable with some form of decentralized ID that they then give out, and people whether it's a QR code or whatever it happens to be, or a token. I think we've made some steps through the adversity. The technology has moved further faster. And I think from a cultural perspective, people will become more comfortable with it.